that is that this meeting will be recorded. Do we have any public comment at this juncture for those who aren't on the agenda? There's nothing in the agenda under unfinished business, so we will start with new business. So the first item on the agenda, well, actually, let's just maybe in the best effort of time, maybe start with the Transit Authority since you're here.
Okay.
And presenting, we want to make sure that we're being efficient with your time. So if we could move your requests up to the list on the agenda, that would be great.
Okay, I appreciate
So welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate the time to come talk to you. It is, getting to budget time again. And my first request is the usual operating request. I think I have it at 50-some thousand. I'm sorry, I didn't bring my paper with me.
50,000.
That is, hopefully I'll be able to get longer on this year. I'm attending their meeting next week, so I'm hoping that they will participate unlike last year. So that's my request. I also included our report for our annual report for the board that was presented in July for your review. And then the second is I was hoping to not have to come before you and ask you for more money. But we have a geothermal in our building that was there that the board and the past director decided to try. It is owned by Susquehanna Development that is owned by Bob Yoder, for anybody who knows him. We have had issues ever since they put this in, and the past director really kind of let it slide. It's pulling out river water, which there's no filter on his system to filter out that water. So a lot of that water is coming into, the settlement is coming into our building. In that report that I did give you, the second one, there are letters from our tenants because they have also are being problems with issues. And then there's a couple of pictures that somebody from Warren Webster was in and had to take out one of the pipes, and you'll see that the one end is totally clogged and the other end is partially clogged. And there was a bucket of sediment that he got out of one of our units. We've had to replace 3 units, which are not cheap. But we have a filter, but even that filter is allowing this particle stuff to get into our building. This is runs our toilets, toilet water, our heating and cooling system, as well as our sprinkler system. So it's something that really needs to be removed from our building. I've talked to people and they're saying that a cooling tower is the best way to do this. I apologize there, I really don't know a whole lot about the cooling towers. I know that they told me that this will recirculate the water continuous until it gets too bad, then it'll dump it. It will take 20 gallons at a time to run this system. Right now we're doing about 30 gallons a minute. So the cost should be way down from where we're at now. And it will get us cleaner water to operate our system. So in order to do this system, they quoted me a price of $200,000. The state PennDOT has guaranteed me the money as long as I have a $7,000 local match. So that is my request, my second request to you, is this extra $7,000 to replace the system. Does anybody have any questions? Or I know Commissioner Eggleston understands a little more with being at the meetings and the money we've been having to put out for these systems.
Yeah, I mean, it's a major problem. It has been for a long time. I'm supportive of it. Just generally speaking, I guess my only question with the whole thing is just that, with the vehicles and whatnot, they're managed and operated by the Transit Authority. The building itself, I've always understood it is PennDOT's building.
It's technically ours,
Yeah.
unless we were to have to disband.
Okay.
Then it would automatically go to PennDOT.
Well, my only thing is that there had to have been some local match in order to generate the building.
In the beginning, there was, what they called it that, because that was before I was even working for the transit. It was a special funding that the federal government was doing,
Yeah,
and then there was some state and then some local, yes.
yeah, because that was during the Bush administration, and we had that infrastructure, whatever it was.
Yes.
And, yeah, I'd just be curious as to what because if they're asking for a match on maintenance on a facility, it would be nice on the back end to have some clarity of, because it's always been like if the building gets sold, if something happens to it, it just all goes back to PennDOT. And my question is if there was a match associated with it, or we have some interest in it, that should be clarified. Because then it technically isn't 100%, there's a local match associated with it.
So the ask is to just investigate
No,
why there's a local match needed and what historically was used for the building.
Yeah, I mean, my general recommendation would be to move forward with this. I mean, the sum is small, but the need is great in the facility. The grant amount of the money is the majority of it's being provided by PennDOT. This is a little bit different than some of the other stuff that we've done with them, where, like with the building, a lot of the maintenance stuff, I mean, they've covered the whole thing, that's been a part of the talk budget, and it hasn't affected our match. Like in this case, I don't know if they're looking at this as like an additional expense that's outside the realm.
It's a capital application,
Yeah,
so it's capital money, and in order to get capital money, you have to have a local match.
did we have a local match when we redid the bay, like the?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe I am looking at this the wrong way, I guess.
Will there be any increased efficiency in heating or cooling or water usage as a result of this?
There should be, yes. They're saying that this will cut down the usage, and the maintenance is gonna be the huge thing. There's been times when in the letters you'll see, but the center has had to close down because we had no water coming into our building to flush toilets. But also that sediment that's in there is getting clogged inside the toilet, and it's added more work to repair those.
There's multiple, I mean, the maintenance for that system over the years has been ridiculous. Like the wash bay had to be completely reworked because the water that was coming out of the system was corroding the walls and
the whole system.
Like the thing shuts down all the time because the system gets back up. It was like many of the things associated with the development down there. It was never properly done, so it's generated costs for everybody up and down the line.
Yes.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
A couple quick ones. So, turning back to the allocation, I see you're only asking us for the 50,000 change. Is that with the assumption that all of these other municipalities are kicking in that match?
Not with those ones that I listed on that paper. That would just be showing you if everybody was willing to, within the fixed route area, to give money. That was kind of guesstimating the population for each of those areas. The amount that I did request is the members that have requested or have given money in the past to us.
Okay, which would be the city of Warren.
Youngsville, Sheffield, Glade, Pleasant Township,
Okay.
and mine was Conowingo last year. They had been prior to last year.
And you were going to meet with their supervisors and request
I am
that?
going to ask if they would come back on board and support us.
Okay.
Mhm.
There's some materials that can help you make that case?
Yes.
Okay.
Conowingo Township receives a great deal of service from the top.
Yes, they do, because with having Walmart, we take a lot of people there, so they definitely get a lot out of our bus.
And they're, whatever, the second or third largest municipality, right? I mean, the population.
Population, I believe so.
My second question, or second under the city, just related to the water tower and everything, under the cooling tower. I presume you got multiple engineer perspectives on that being the best way?
Yes,
Okay, and then we bid it out or got a couple estimates?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, we just end up with a mandate, you can bid it out.
Yes,
I would assume, I was just making sure that that already happened now and not later in the process. So we knew we were dealing with real numbers.
right.
Close. And there was no obvious alternative than a cooling tower.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good.
Okay, anything else?
Sorry, so the 50,000 is assuming which municipalities chip in?
Sounds like all of them.
Not all that I listed there, that would be if we could get me township,
Well,
Aaron
that
Borough.
would be the 38, it'd be 39,000 if we were,
They were all,
if they all, yeah.
I'm
I
saying
got
for the 50 that you're requesting, that's because you are believing the city and Huntsville and Sheffield, so it will be.
Right.
continuing.
Yes.
All right.
very good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Wendy.
And then,
Good day.
thank you for being here, Brian. You have any reassessment update for us?
Field work is moving along, rather well still. They're finishing up Farmington, actually starting in Pine Grove this week. With everything the weather holds, they're hoping to get through Elk before we get any major snowfall here. And then once that starts, they're gonna, excuse me, do like Lake Conwalgo around the city area here while, there's snow and bad weather. So field work's moving along well. I've actually been out quality controlling some of the areas they've already done, like Southwest Eldridge, Spring Creek. Everything I've checked for quality control looks real good, so
Okay,
I've had a collection I'm feeling really good about. So
okay.
I am meeting with Sarah Gardner tomorrow. We're going to go over some things about some of the next steps we're going to be working on. So pretty much that's where we're at right now.
Okay, and Vision's been responsive to your requests and provided us adequate support in the field. Okay. All right,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Thanks. All right, now open bids for the tax anticipation. We go back out there, Dave.
We got one from Northwest Park.
All right, so this is for the tax anticipation note. We have requested $4 million. And they are offering a tax-free rate of 6.5% based on a 360-day year. Looks like they have to engage with the Knox Law Firm to do some filing there for a cost of $5,000. And then they're requesting that we have a minimum deposit relationship of $500,000 with the county and also pay a $1,000 origination fee.
So is that a traditional PAN or does it have a drawdown or not?
It doesn't.
I guess if it has a requirement minimum of $500,000, then it's assuming credit drawdown.
That's correct,
Okay.
yes. Yes, it would be a credit drawdown. I don't see here that where there's a mandatory draw on it.
Besides the first half. Okay.
So that's the question, is that 500,000 the drawdown, or is it,
Now I'm guessing it's a deposit relationship.
yeah?
So we would agree to engage with them for a deposit relationship of $500,000.
And in posting this, was there any difference from what we traditionally do with what we posted for the TAM in the request?
Nope, it's posted in the newspaper, and then various letters go out to M&T Bank, Key Bank.
So but the request wasn't any different?
No.
Okay.
There had been discussion about possibly revising, and that didn't happen, it just went out.
That's what I was asking.
And we may want to just inquire with them as, even though it's not necessarily stated here, if there would be any mandatory draws, or if it's anything other than what's listed here, so we can follow up with them as well.
Because having a single bidder is very, not normal for this, and I would say we may want to do a projection on what the cost of the interest overall and those types of things to determine whether this is still going to be, at least in the current financial climate, the most cost-effective way to execute the financial plan of the county. I mean, rather, as opposed to doing 2 bills during the year, splitting the taxes up and out if we can.
Are they indicating they want us to pay for Knox's fees? This is,
Well, I mean, we would look at the 6%, which is like 6 times what we paid in other years. Like, because we've had it as low as, I mean, or what was the lowest? I mean, lowest was 1, right?
Well, I mean, but
That was-
interest rates are so much different today, but I totally
Which I
agree.
understand, and that's the point I'm trying to make,
Right, right.
which is,
And how banks deploy their money is changed significantly. So the lack of interest is not surprising to me, but it still would be wise to make sure that this is the best
yeah.
move.
I mean, it would be
Or
a
what we-
huge change to shift to 2 bills a year, but the whole impetus of that was to save on the administration and the mailing.
Yes.
If you get into a situation where the interest ends up being $60,000
Right.
or 50, then you're in a place where
The additional
it would outweigh the cost and the administration savings.
looking what I have from last year, the interest rate with Key Bank was variable, but it was set around 4.283.
And I don't know what, I mean, it's based on treasury.
Yeah.
So that's totally, changed year over year as well. But yeah, I think it's worth doing that analysis and evaluation to determine whether or not this is the best approach given the
The other
interest rates.
factor to consider with the future board would be, we've got major capital needs.
Yep.
Maybe this would be the time to, maybe we gave off the bond 4 years ago, 5 years ago, somewhere around there. Maybe it's time to think about quoting the bond for the purpose of facilitating the capital needs, which could free up some operational cash so you wouldn't even need it to hand.
The lender, I think there was a tax exempt rate lock last year at 4.65. The lender paid their own counsel fees, just as some context.
This report that their regulatory filing fee would cost them $5,000. They want a deposit relationship with us for $500,000 and then paying them a $1,000 origination fee. So,
I would make the point that for anybody that would potentially read an article about this in the future, that I would not make the change to 2 bills until at least another year or 2 down the line. It wouldn't be something that you would consider next year because it would be a very big change for the tax collectors and for the community. And you want a year's worth of prep on that.
right, and there's a lot of analysis involved that we would want to be able to have a good footing to be able to say this is the reason for our change.
Yep.
Well, everything has got more expensive, we know that for sure, including our costs here, so it's not surprising given interest rates. All right, so then last on new business is the INVEST program for for local governments.
I asked for this to be put on the agenda for consideration. It would be an alternate way of investing capital that the county has. I know we have a relationship with Great Lake and others, but the advantage that I can see of going through the Pennsylvania State Treasury really comes down to the fact that you can withdraw the money much faster than other kinds of relationships. I believe there's a minimum you can get money back within a day, depending on, okay. If you get it in by 1:50 p.m., you can have it next day, and I've never heard of that kind of thing. So it seems like just a tool that the future Board of Commissioners and or the Treasurer may want to consider. And as there's no real cost to having that relationship established, it seems to me like something that the county could easily embark on formalizing such a relationship with the Treasury so that the door is open if you wanted to use it in the future.
And this is investing dollars with the county,
So for instance,
with Invest.
yes, so for instance, when the taxes first come in at the beginning of the, at this time of year, we could in theory transfer a portion of those funds to an account like this that's interest bearing, get your 5.5% or something in interest, and then take draws off of it as you need. I would obviously recommend keeping a certain portion for emergencies fund, so to speak, but given that you can get it back so quickly, it seems like a really good option.
There's not, and so they really don't give you a defined interest rate.
They told me that when I talked to the gentleman in Harrisburg on Friday, or whatever day that was, it was 5.38, I think, my memory serves correctly.
Okay.
I assume it does fluctuate, but still that's pretty much what we're getting. So,
And then it looks like there's an administrative fee, depending how you invest it, of either 11 or 6 basis points, so that it's not free
no,
service, but.
no, I'm merely comparing it to the other alternatives we currently have in
Right.
place.
Okay.
Certainly not free.
No, it's something that we have have another tool in our toolbox for investing, that's for sure, given the rates are going on right now in the market. Thanks. All right, and then policies and procedures, I don't see anything specifically under that.
And the only one we worked on in the last couple of weeks was for salary board specifically, so we'll be going before probably the November salary board.
And then kind of projects, I guess the big defined project right now is kind of reassessment. And then broadband, BEAD money's coming out here soon. So see what that kind of interest we get from our county there. And then we are going to review the Commissioners' session agenda. And we got new business, of course, the transportation services agreement from TAC, local operating match, and then capital match, what we've been referenced in today's work session. There's a couple other things that we want to include. One would be the U.S. Post Office lease renewal in Youngsville, and then a share grant application. I believe that's associated with the DCED. Is that correct?
Yes, and it's for restoration.
All right, any other items?
If there's no objection to putting the investing on it,
Yeah.
see where it's going.
Yeah, sure.
I thought for sure we already passed that agreement with Postal Service.
We passed the rates. We had a discussion of the rates, not the whole facing us all this extra stuff. So,
We not the renewal itself, just the
Any
rates.
update on when Bowers office is, have they moved yet? They're not moved yet, they're still working.
No, I think there's 7 more days or so that everything's painted and, they were still running some of the electronic stuff.
It looks like it's gonna be nice, nice upgrade, so.
December 1st-ish.
I never thought that I would see that, and that's gonna happen before January, so that's. Now we just need to grind the guy who wrote the papers.
We can laugh and listen
I
to
can,
these.
R.I.P.
All right, any other general discussion? All right, need for executive session?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
very good.
Yes.
Pre-litigation matter,